यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य
ओम ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंशऋषभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञान घन प्रत्यगर्थो ब्रह्माहमस्मि सोहमस्मि ब्रह्माहमस्मि। ओम प्रपन्नपारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। ओम सर्वेभ्यो सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। May the Almighty Shri Lord Venkateshwara bestow all kinds of prosperity, health, wealth and eternal happiness with Paripurna Lakshmi Katakshams to you and the entire your family and friends. Let us begin Bhagavad Gita, verse number 3 of 13th chapter. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Kshetrajñam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajñayor jnanam yattadjnanam matam mama. Now Bhagavan Krishna is talking about equation between kshetram and kshetrajñaha. In the previous words he explained what exactly the kshetram is, and also he explained about kshetrajñaha. Now he talks about the equation. I am the kshetrajñaha in all individual kshetram. That's all. So what is the benefit that I would get or one will get by having this realization? Up to the chapter 12, so we were talking about something else. The knowledge about something which is beyond us, which is other than me. We were learning about Ishvara. In the second Shatka, Bhagavan has given very nice and elaborate explanation about Ishvara Tattvam. Only these all 6 chapters, means from chapter number 7 to 12, they speak about 3 steps of realization of Ishvara. Understanding God as the creator. The world has been created. That is the first level of understanding. In second level understanding, what we have to understand is the God alone has become or evolved as the world. That is the second level understanding. The third level understanding, God exists as the cause of the world, unaffected by Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Karya. That is the third level of understanding. The third level of understanding begins from chapter number 13. 2 levels of understanding were explained by Lord Krishna in thorough way. If you go through all those chapters again and again, you can learn in a beautiful way. But he introduces 3 levels over there, but he explains more from 13th chapter. And also from 6 to 18, So Bhagavan fixes there are 5 levels of bhakti. The 3 concepts can be followed as the 5 steps. 5 means bhakti is the only one means for moksha. Bhakti has 5 steps. Beautifully Bhagavan explained in the 12th chapter. Now he continues the same thing from here. He says, so I am the imperishable kshetrajña in all the kshetram. That's what sarva kshetreshu mam kshetrajñam iti vidhi. You have to have that realization. So what we will get? Okay, so let us see the benefit of this realization. Now we will take the example of 2 pots. Now 2 pots which are made of clay. So one is the big pot, another is a small one. Now the big pot has got 250 or 500 gram according to the weight. The small pot has got only 200 gram weight. Now we call it a small pot. We give the adjective small pot and big pot. Now if I weigh the pot, this weight is different from that weight. Now this small pot, if it is conscious enough to realize his limitations, what it will think? It will think, I am a small pot. I am a tiny pot. My size is very small. My capacity also is very small. I have a less weight. So this is what it will think. When it looks at the big pot, it will get the complex. Oh, he is bigger than me. So I am the tiny small pot. It will get inferiority complex. And the big pot, the huge pot will think, I am the big pot. See, that pot also has got consciousness. You just imagine. He thinks I am this much weight. I am this much size. My capacity, I can have 1 liter water or something liquid, Then when it looks at the small pot, it will say, haha, I am bigger than him. He is so tiny. He is so small. He is, small. I can foo him. That's what the superiority complex which will take with this big pot. Or other way around also may be possible. That small pot looks very cute. I am overweight, I am obese. I have to be slim like, because all people like that small, attractive, slim pot. Nobody touches even me. They don't even take me to see. That can be also possible, inferiority complex. So now the both parts are provided the knowledge of the part aspects. The part, that size is different, the capacity is different, and not only that, the paint also different. All characteristic of the part was detailedly explained by the society. In the same way, we are given complete detail about this kshetram, body. You are so and so son, you are this much old, you are female, you are male, and you are a human being. They are animals, they are natural beings. We give complete data about the size of material aspects, not talking about conscious aspects, which is the cause. If these two parts are provided proper knowledge of the clay, then what will happen? A small pot will realize, I am nothing but clay. The pot is just apparent thing, temporary thing. I remain clay. I was clay. Now I am also continuing as the clay. After the pot is destroyed, I will be continuously remaining as the clay. In the same way, that huge pot also is nothing but clay. So now both of them are identical. This big pot also won't get ego by seeing that. It won't get inferiority, superiority complex. All nonsense will be gone. A big, huge relief will take place. That relief from buddhi. So that itself is a magic. If people are provided the details or the definitions of their original nature, we'll go to the same example. We can just weigh those two parts. The weight of pot is not belonging to the pot. For pot is only the name and form. The weight originally belongs to the clay. In the same way, the life is completely dependent on that consciousness. Now consciousness, which seems to be weightless, but that is the substratum of the entire universe. The universe seems to be so heavy. The consciousness seems to be so light. Because whenever we realize ourselves, we don't feel our weight. If at all we are experiencing our weight, means if you put on 100 gram of weight, you should become aware, oh, 100 gram weight have been put on. we never become aware about our weight. That's what the real fact is. Now, this consciousness, which doesn't own anything, it is the substratum of the total body, but it is not attached with body. Swatantra Purushaha. So Krishna is very clever, intelligent Acharya, and he is very compassionate also. He is bringing the teaching very patiently. You just understand, you have to be informed about your original nature. Now, the PM, you take the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, so he is also a person. When he goes to his family, he becomes father of his son. But he will become son for their father. From the matter aspects, I am playing different role. From the conscious aspects, all of us one and the same. That is what the complete knowledge. By realizing it, I will get out of all kinds of nonsense suffering. Because suffering which is caused by wrong understanding or lack of understanding. If I am not able to understand myself, I will definitely suffer. Swamiji, that's okay. It seems to be somehow good, but we need more explanation. The Shastra gives one more example. That one more example is regarding the wave and ocean. Have you seen waves? They begin from the middle of the ocean and they come and fast they will take a huge form and they reach finally the shore. When they reach shore, they lose their form. Now every wave will also have the complex. I am the small wave, the big wave which is pushing me, the big waves which goes in front of me. So that's what the complex according to the size. And also every wave has got insecurity problem. Why? Because all the waves, they are afraid to come to the shore. When they reach the shore, seashore, the wave thinks I will be distracted if I go to the shore. Therefore what? I don't want to go to the shore. But forcefully other shores, means other waves, they push, dhakka deti hai, they push towards the shore. It with fear it comes to the shore and it disappears. It loses. Like that alone, the life is endowed with competitions. We live our life with insecurity. Lots of insecurity. In India alone, I see people are worried about job security. The foreigners, they just give up the job. They come to India and also they stay for more than 1 or 2 years. They learned whatever we are not even interested regarding that. I saw one person, he is learning all these Upanishads for 3-4 years. When I had the conversation with him, I asked, after 3-4 years, what are you going to do? He says, no, I will take care of myself, don't worry. No, will you get job once you go back? Definitely I will get job. No problem with that. If you ask any Indian, he will have the plan for 25 years. If he loses the job, that's all there. He cannot, tolerate, he cannot be patient. If at all he becomes patient enough, the people around him becomes, impatient towards him. Therefore, the situation, they are able to overcome their security, means insecurity. But we are filled up with insecurity. We also have the problem of loneliness. I don't have anybody. I need to have somebody. So all this play, which is called life, is constructed upon insecurity. And all these companies which brings advertisement, which makes films, movies, dramas, serials, stories, the novels, everything is utilizing the insecurity which human being has. We are victimized by our own insecurity. Purposefully we make ourselves to be among the problems and thinking that I would get security from the worldly things. Therefore I struggle. Nobody wants to die like the wave. The wave has complex. If that wave is provided the knowledge of its real nature, and call the wave and tell me, do you know what is your real nature, my dear? What is my real nature? I am going to die within a few minutes when I reach shore. No. Within that you learn something from me. Yeah, tell me. For that what should I do? For that you need not to do anything. You just have to listen to me carefully. Then Shravanam begins. We need not to do anything specially for realizing ourselves. Just we have to keep listening with a focused mind. That's what is needed, nothing else. When that wave is ready to listen to us, means an Acharya teaches, you have two kinds of reality. You have the real nature, that which is nothing but water. You are nothing but water. The forms and names, they are perishable. Anyway, whether you think or not, they are going to be perished. But the water, which is the real nature, it cannot be seized by any force from outside. You are very secure. You are not going to lose yourself. After reaching the shore also, the water remains water. The form is being distracted. If at all you are evaporated, you will be coming as the rain again. You are not going to lose your original Swarupa, my dear water. Then the wave becomes very confident. And we can also understand the benefit of the self-realization, the knowledge which brings security. By understanding ourselves, we get security. No other object will bring the security because they don't have. You may work and try it for thousands of years, like Yayati, who lived more than 1,000 years and finally said, Nakama kamanam upabhogena shamyate havisha krishna vartmaiva. Like that, by satisfying our sensory organs and mind and buddhi, we won't be satisfied. Because which is endowed with insecurity, it craves to have a security and pleasure. Therefore, it drives us to go and earn something to get security. Not knowing about its own reality, real nature, it drives us to go out. The knowledge which brings security, complete security, the knowledge which brings complete happiness, that happiness which cannot be limited by anything, which cannot be broken by anything. The world seems to be very strong, but it's not strong enough. The consciousness, the conscious principle which is eternal, it remains. Satyameva jayate nanratam, a Vakya from Upanishads. Now Bhagavan, he has brought Upanishads teaching in these words. By understanding the equation, we will get complete security. And the final understanding also Bhagavan will bring at last, means end of this chapter or end of this subject. You need not to get security from outside, my dear. You are already completely secured and you are already the completely bliss one. You need not to get happiness or security from outside. The all object which is outside, they are incapable of providing security and happiness to you because they are dependent on you, because they are projected to give the karma phala to you. It means what? Bhagavan will continuously give the steps. In the final steps, he will give the knowledge. They are mithya. They are temporary or mithya itself. Mithya means false realities that Bhagavan will bring in the last session. So now, up to now, we have understood by learning equation, I will be free from suffering. I will be getting complete security and also happiness too. That's what Bhagavan brings. Sarva kshetresu mam kshetrajnam iti viddhi. Kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam. This is the knowledge. No other knowledge can be superior than this. This is the superior and it's a knowledge which provides moksha itself. This is the knowledge. I consider this is the supreme one. Bhagavan concludes. Then we are going to the next verse, verse number 4 of 13th chapter. Shri Bhagavan uvacha tat kshetram yaccha yadrikcha yadvikari yatascha yat sacha yo yat prabhavascha tat samasena me shrunu. Didn't I tell you, Bhagavan is so compassionate. So he is giving more explanation. In these words, he assures, Arjuna, tat kshetram. I will talk about the kshetram. Tat kshetram yat tat kshetram. I am going to talk about the kshetra, which is called as kshetra. Yadrikcha tat kshetram. I am also going to talk about the nature of that kshetra. I am going to give the knowledge about the modifications which kshetras undergoes. And also he assures, I will talk about kshetra which has got cause and effect aspects, realities. It means he is going to talk about kshetram elaborately with by forthcoming verses. He himself, we need not worry, Swamiji, we have not got anything, so everything went on head, so it was like a bouncer. We need not worry. Bhagavan himself is going to say, so what is kshetram? Though he taught in the second chapter, he is going to elaborate now, but in the sense of equation. Now he is going to compare kshetram and kshetrajnam. That's what in the same verse. Every verse you can see for the past 4 verses from the beginning, because Arjuna himself asked as the pairs when he asked about prakritim purusham kshaiva kshetram kshetrajnam evacha. So that's what he himself asked as the pair. Prakriti means what? Prakriti tattva. Purusha means what? The reality which is conscious principle, matter and consciousness. Kshetram kshetrajnaha, again matter and consciousness. Jnanam jneyam, understanding the matter principle, understanding the conscious principle. He himself, every verse having the vision of equation. In the next second verse itself, Bhagavan brings the same things. Idam shariram kaunteya kshetramitya vidhiyate yetadyo veti tam prahuhu kshetrajnam iti tadvitaha. He talks about both reality. And the third verse, the same thing. He brings every verse, he brings equation in every verse. Now here also he talks about that. Sacha yo yat prabhavascha, even kshetrajnaha. I will talk about kshetrajnaha and his glories too. He gives assurance. Tat samasena me shrunu. I am going to narrate briefly. Bhagavan, when he brings briefly, it means we have to think he brings elaborately. So one Acharya said that it's not the meaning of briefing the things. So he is going to give elaborately in a way through Arjuna can understand. Tat kshetram yaccha yadrikcha yadvikari yatascha yatu. This yatascha yatu is very complicated. The nature of kshetram, and not only that, the modifications of kshetram, and cause and effect reality of Kshetram, all these things will be explained by me. You don't worry. That's what from Bhagavan. We'll read the next words. Rishabhir bahudha geetam छंदोभिर् विविधैः पृथक् ब्रह्मसूत्रपदैश्चैव हेतुमद्भिर्विनिश्चितैः. Now he prices the knowledge of the equation. Rishibhihi bahudha geetam. Geetam means it is taught in the Upanishads. Chandobhihi or by the Rishis, it is given as a solid teaching in the form of Upanishads. Different Upanishads. They bring different approach to analyze this knowledge. Even Brahma Sutra analyzes it from the aspects of logical approach. So this knowledge alone is discussed elaborately, analyzed elaborately, done research elaborately by our rishis, which is called as Upanishads, Vedas. You know, this Prasthanatrayam, which we call it, it contains 3 texts: Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads and Brahma Sutra. This Bhagavad Gita is called Smriti Prasthana. The source, Prasthana means source. There are 3 kinds of sources through which our forefathers established Vedanta. The first is Bhagavad Gita, so which is sung by Bhagavan himself. Therefore, it becomes the first and preliminary text for Vedanta. Once you are thorough with Bhagavad Gita, then you are ready to pursue Upanishads. Once you complete the Upanishad, then you have to go for Brahma Sutra, through which you will become more clear about these Upanishads. Now our target is Upanishads. We have to digest the Upanishad. That's what Bhagavan also now and then he just tells this content which is dealt in the Upanishads. I am not bringing from my head. So it is already given by our Guru Parampara. Now he is glorifying Guru Parampara, and he is also prizing the Shastra, and he is also prizing the methodology through which the knowledge is given to us. You know, it's a unique way. If anybody asks, what Bhagavad Gita teaches. So it teaches about you, my dear. What is the necessary to learn about myself? I know about myself. Then Bhagavad Gita says, you don't know about yourself clearly. I know about yourself clearly. And you don't know about the world clearly. Whatever the knowledge you have, that is a vague half knowledge. Bhagavad Gita very solidly denies the knowledge which we have. It names your knowledge is considered as ignorance. You will be shocked. My God. Then it will introduce shloka by shloka, chapter by chapter, shatka by shatka. It will hit like anything, hitting like hammering. There is one text called Bhaja Govindam. It has got another name, Moha Mudgaraha. It's like hammering on our ignorance, through which, he will smash of all ignorance. Therefore, Bhagavan Krishna is the great teacher. He glorifies the rishis and he glorifies Vedas. It means the value of Vedas to be realized by us, which we will do in future with the glory and with the grace and anugraha of Lord Krishna. We will continue from next session. Harihi Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.